Top 10 Fastest Muscle Cars of the 1970s. The 1970s were a wild time for muscle cars. Horsepower battles, drag strip duels, and engineering that pushed the limits of what was possible on the street. Even though emissions regulations were creeping in, the early years of the decade delivered some of the fastest, loudest, and most legendary machines ever built. Today, we're counting down the top 10 fastest muscle cars of the 1970s. Not just the ones with raw speed, but the ones that still impress today. Let's hit the road. In 10th place is a car that doesn't always get the spotlight, but absolutely deserves it. The 1971 AMC Javelin AMX. Powered by a 401 cubic inch V8, it cranked out 330 horsepower. A serious number for its time. AMC wasn't just competing, it was swinging for the fences. With a quarter-mile time hovering around 14.5 seconds, the Javelin AMX proved it could hang with the big boys. It had bold styling, aggressive stance, and a NASCAR pedigree thanks to AMC's factory racing efforts. Even today, spotting one on the road feels like discovering a hidden gem from the golden age of American performance. Coming in at number 9 is a torque monster, the 1970 Buick GSX Stage 1. Don't let the Buick badge fool you. This wasn't your grandfather's car. Under the hood was a 455 CID V8 with 350 horsepower, but the real story? 510 pound-feet of torque, the highest of any American production car in the 1970s. This car could rocket down the quarter mile in around 13.8 seconds, all while dressed in bright Saturn yellow or Apollo white with bold stripes and spoilers. It was a statement that Buick could build muscle cars that were just as fierce as anything from Dodge or Chevy. Today, it's one of the most sought-after collectibles of the era, and for good reason. Number 8 brings us to a true icon, the 1970 Pontiac GTO Judge, equipped with the fearsome Ram Air 4 400 cubic inch V8. Rated at 370 horsepower, this wasn't just about raw power. It was a high-compression, high-revving, drag-strip-ready machine. In real-world tests, the Judge could hit the quarter mile in about 13.7 seconds. And the roar from its open hood, scoops, and free-flowing exhaust was music to any gearhead's ears. The Ram Air 4 engine had aluminum intake, high-lift cam, and special heads. This was serious performance. Even today, a Judge in carousel red with the Judge decals is one of the most unforgettable sights in the muscle car world. Sliding into 7th place is the sleeper powerhouse, the 1970 Oldsmobile 442W30. It came with a 455 cubic inch V8, delivering a massive 370 horsepower and enough low-end grunt to plant you deep into the seat. But what really made the W30 special was the factory hot rod setup. Fiberglass hood with functional scoops, aluminum intake, performance camshaft, and low-restriction dual exhaust. On the drag strip, it could run a quarter mile in the low 13 seconds. Not bad for a car with a touch of luxury inside. It was muscle with manners. And today, it's a rare beast that collectors dream about. At number 6, we get serious with the 1971 Plymouth GTX 446 pack. A name that sounds aggressive because it is. Under the hood was a 440 cubic inch V8 topped with 3 two-barrel carburetors, the legendary 6-pack setup, cranking out 390 horsepower. This car was a menace at stoplights and at the track, running the quarter mile in around 13.5 seconds. Despite tightening emissions rules, the GTX proved that raw muscle wasn't dead just yet. With bold body lines, a shaker hood, and a rumble that could shake windows, the 1971 GTX still commands respect every time it shows up. Breaking into the top 5, we meet one of the most iconic Mopars ever built, the 1970 Dodge Challenger RT, armed with the legendary 426 HEMI. Rated at 425 horsepower, this elephant-sized engine was engineered for racing and brought to the street. With a 4-speed manual, heavy-duty suspension, and rear gearing built for launching, the Challenger RT could hit the quarter mile in the low 13 seconds, and even high 12 seconds in the right hands. The Challenger wasn't just fast. It was bold, wide, and downright intimidating. From its long hood to its split grille, this machine screamed muscle even standing still. And today, it's one of the most celebrated names in Mopar history. At number 4, we find raw, unfiltered brute force, the 1970 Chevrolet Chevelle SS 454 LS6. This monster packed a 454 cubic inch V8 that was officially rated at 450 horsepower. But insiders and dyno tests suggest it was well over 500. Backed by either a 4-speed manual or TH400 automatic and often paired with 4.10 rear gears, this beast could shred the quarter mile in 13.1 seconds, straight from the factory. It wasn't just fast, it was violent. From its cowl induction hood to the dual racing stripes, the Chevelle SS 454 was a street-legal thunderstorm. It remains one of the most feared and revered muscle cars of all time. At number 3, we enter the later part of the decade, when most muscle cars were choking under emissions laws, but not the 1973 Pontiac Trans Am SD 455. This was Pontiac's last great stand. While rated at just 310 horsepower, SAE net, the Super Duty 455 was a race-ready engine in disguise. Reinforced block, forged internals, free-flowing heads, and a wild camshaft. On the track, it could still run 13.9 seconds in the quarter, beating cars with much higher published horsepower. The SD 455 Trans Am proved that even in the decline of the muscle car era, Pontiac wasn't going out quietly, they were going out swinging. And today, it's one of the rarest, most respected muscle machines of the 1970s. Runner-up on our list is the unstoppable 1970 Plymouth Roadrunner 426 HEMI. A purebred street racer with a single mission: go fast, scare rivals, and do it with a beep-beep horn. Under the hood was the fire-breathing 426 HEMI V8, producing 425 horsepower and built with forged internals, dual 4-barrel carbs, and hemispherical heads. This beast could tear down the quarter mile in 13.1 seconds, and in ideal conditions, even dip into the high 12 seconds. The Roadrunner was bare bones on purpose. No frills, no nonsense, just pavement-pounding muscle. Its cartoon badge may have been playful, but what was under the hood? Dead serious. Even today, this HEMI-powered bird is a dream car for collectors and one of the most legendary muscle machines ever built. The king of the 1970 muscle jungle, the 1971 Dodge Charger Super B 426 HEMI. This was the end of an era, one of the last true HEMI-powered monsters before the muscle car age began to fade. With 425 horsepower, brutal torque, and a reputation forged on drag strips across America, the HEMI Super B could clock 13 seconds flat in the quarter mile. Bone stock. That's supercar territory, especially for the early 1970s. Only a handful were produced, making it incredibly rare today. But what makes it legendary isn't just the numbers, it's the attitude. The Charger Super B wasn't just fast, it was ferocious. A final roar before the muscle car era quieted down. So there you have it. 10 of the fastest, fiercest, and most unforgettable muscle cars of the 1970s. From overlooked beasts to legendary titans, these machines still turn heads and drop jaws half a century later. Which one's your favorite? Let us know in the comments. And if you love muscle cars, hit that like button, subscribe, and buckle up, because we've got more horsepower coming your way. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next ride.